Welcome, everybody. My name is Marty Mascari. I'm with the North Central Texas Area Agency on Aging. We welcome you all this morning. I'm glad you could join us. We are, just so you know, we are recording these sessions. If you need, or anybody actually that's registered will get a copy of the recording link in about a week with a second follow-up email that we'll send out. And so you will get the recording if there's anything that you want to go back and listen to. But also, I've said before, and I think for anybody that's joining us, I will keep putting the link to the slides for today's presentation in the chat so that you can download the slides. That also link should have been in a reminder email you got an hour before we started. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get started. Our first presentation is from Melinda Gardner with the North Central Texas Area Agency on Aging. And I'm going to do a little bit of juggling here, and we'll start with hers here in just a second. I think it'll let me just take this away. Let's see if it'll let me do that. Just a second here.
Thank you, Marty, and thanks for coordinating our Medicare Mondays. My name is Melinda Gardner.
I'm going to stop real quick.
Last month, our Medicare Monday was on Medicare.
I'm going to stop real quick and just ask if you can hear, if you're able to hear that. Diane, can you hear that?
Yes, I can hear it.
Great. Thank you so much. Here we go.
Last month, our Medicare Monday was on Medicare Advantage plan and prescription drug coverage. If you missed that session, it was recorded, and you are welcome to request that recording. Today, we are going to talk about current topics 2022, the top 12 holiday scams countdown as well. In January 2022, we will have a Medicare Monday, but it will be all recorded, as January 17th is a holiday for some individuals. We will not have a live session. It will be recorded and sent out to individuals. That will be on Medicare Preventive Services and the ever-changing grandparent scam. In February, we will have the general enrollment period and the romance scams. 10 a.m. live, 3 p.m. recorded with a live Q&A session. As mentioned, we are going to talk about current topics for 2022. As you know, the Medicare amounts could change each year, so we're going to give you detailed information about some of those amounts that have changed. Included in this session will be Social Security cost of living adjustment, Medicare Part A and B cost changes, Medicare Part D cost sharing, income-related monthly adjustment amount, or IRMA, and also a little bit about help with costs. A little bit of background about Social Security. Prior to 1975, the Social Security benefit increases were actually set by legislation. Since 1975 and through 1982, the benefit increases have been cost of living adjustments and payable in June of each year. After that, COLAs, or cost of living adjustments, have been effective with the December payment. That's a great holiday gift, isn't it? So now those increases or COLAs you will actually see in your December payment. This chart actually shows you what the cost of living increase was each year since 1975. And the increase for 2022, which started with your Social Security benefit for this month, is 5.9%, and that is the largest increase since 1982. The correlation between Social Security and Medicare is that Social Security is responsible for enrolling people into Medicare and letting them know what their premium amount is. So if you are looking to enroll in Medicare, you could either go to Social Security's website, ssa.gov, create an account, and it will provide you with the opportunity to request enrollment. You can also contact the Social Security office by phone to get more information, but that is the agency that enrolls individuals into Medicare, which is your health insurance. And there are almost 63 million people on Medicare. About 40% of those individuals have a Medicare Advantage plan. To give you a little bit of background, when you first enroll in Medicare and at certain other times, you can choose how you get your Medicare coverage. There are two main ways: Original Medicare, Part A hospital and Part B medical, or a Medicare Advantage plan. You do have to have Part A and Part B in order to get Part C. You can also check the Medicare and You Handbook. It is a great resource and has a wealth of information about the Medicare program. It provides you with information on Original Medicare, other Medicare options, as well as listings of Medicare Advantage and prescription drug plans in the back of the book. If you did not receive yours, or if you help a family member or a friend with insurance information, you can contact our office to receive a Medicare and You Handbook. Let's start off with Medicare Part A costs for 2022 year. Most people will not pay a monthly premium for Part A. So if someone has a work history or their spouse has a work history that includes 40 quarters or 10 years, then there is no monthly premium for Part A, which is hospitalization. If a person is admitted into the hospital, then it starts off with a deductible of $1,556. This covers a benefit period, which is a 60-day period. So if you look in the copay column, it shows days 1 through 60. There is no copay because the deductible covers that period. If someone is in the hospital for longer than 60 days, then there is a per day rate. Days 61 through 90, it's $389. Days 91 and beyond is $778 per day. This is a 60-day period as well, and those are considered your lifetime reserve days. Once those are exhausted, then an individual is responsible for all costs. Medicare Part A also covers a skilled nursing facility stay, and Medicare will pay days 1 through 20 is covered at 100%. Days 21 through 100 do have a per day rate of $194.50. Now these costs are if a person does not have any other insurance. If there are other insurance options, then those costs could change. If we look back at the monthly premium column, it does have some other costs listed. So if a person does not have 40 quarters of work history but has at least 30 quarters, they pay a reduced rate, and that rate is $274. If a person has less than 30 quarters, they pay the full premium, which is $499 per month. There's only about 1% of individuals who actually pay a premium for Part A. Now we're going to look at Medicare Part B costs for 2022. Part B is your health insurance, and the monthly premium for 2022 is $170.10. That's what most people will be paying. Some people will pay less, and some people will pay more, and we'll get into that shortly. The annual deductible is $233, up from $203 this year. And then the co-insurance is still the same, 20% of the Medicare approved amount. So after the deductible is paid, then Medicare pays 80%. Individuals are responsible for 20%. As mentioned from the previous slide, some people do pay a higher monthly Part B premium, and that is called income-related monthly adjustment amount. There are about 5% of individuals who do pay this higher amount. It is based on a person's filing status and yearly income from 2 years prior, but if there are changes in a person's income, they do have a right to appeal. But if the income is, for example, above $91,000 but less than $114,000, then instead of the $170.10 monthly premium, an individual will pay $238.10. This slide provides information on Part D prescription drug plan changes. There are 28 plans to choose from in Texas. Not all plans are available in all areas, but there are 28 prescription drug plans. The premiums range from $6.90 per month to $154.90. The drug deductibles are as high as $480 per month. Once a person reaches a certain threshold, then they fall into a coverage gap or donut hole. That's when their prescription costs are about 25% of the retail cost. Once a person has reached $7,050, they fall into the catastrophic period when their copays do decrease. A couple slides back, we talked about the Part B premium and the income-related monthly adjustment amount. It also applies to Part D, and the same threshold applies, and it is based on filing status and yearly income from 2 years prior. So if we look at the third row, for example, it says above $114,000 up to $142,000 for a single individual in that first column. Then the last column shows what that person would pay. It would be the plan's premium plus $32.10. You can find information on the Part D monthly premiums and other general information about Part D plans in the back of the Medicare and You Handbook. So if your income falls within these guidelines, then you would pay that additional amount listed in the fourth column. If a person decides to get prescription drug coverage through a Medicare Advantage plan, costs could vary based on certain factors. With an Advantage plan, your out-of-pocket costs may vary depending on if the plan charges an additional monthly premium besides the Part B premium, and most people paid $148.50 this year. Some people may have paid a higher amount depending on their income 2 years prior. Also, if the plan pays any of your monthly Medicare premium, your costs could vary. Some Advantage plans will help pay all or part of the Part B premium, and that's called Medicare Part B premium reduction. Whether the plan has a yearly deductible or any other deductible for certain services depends on the out-of-pocket cost, as well as how much you pay for each visit or service, otherwise known as copayments or coinsurance. For example, the plan may charge a copayment like $10 or $20 every time you see a doctor, or may charge a percentage. If it's out of network, it could be as high as 50%. This is an example of an annual notice of change that you may receive if you have a Medicare Advantage plan. Any mail you receive from your current plan, whether it is Part D or a Medicare Advantage plan, you should read that to make sure you understand what changes will happen with that plan. It is a quick, at-a-glance document, but shows your new premium for the following year compared to the current year. It may show the plan's current drug deductible if the plan has one. And on this particular example, it does not have a deductible, and it will indicate your copays for covered prescriptions. Remember, drugs are determined by tiers, which are levels for drugs with corresponding copays and co-insurance amounts. Generally, Tier 1 is generic, so it's relatively low cost. Tier 2 would be a mixture of cheaper brand name drugs and or relatively more expensive generic drugs. Tier 3, typically they're your more expensive brand name drugs. And Tiers 4 and 5 are normally newer, more expensive brand name drugs or specialty drugs, and more than likely require prior authorization in order to get them. Now keep in mind, this does not contain a full list of covered drugs, so check with the particular plan to make sure that all your prescriptions are covered. There may be changes to pharmacies, meaning the pharmacy you may have been using all along is no longer a preferred pharmacy. And this annual notice of change also tells you what to do if you want to keep your coverage, which means you do nothing, but if you want to enroll in a different plan, it gives you the dates on when to do it. Another important document which comes from your plan is the evidence of coverage, and this document is especially important to have if you have enrolled in a Medicare Advantage plan, but it comes with standalone Part D plans too. The annual notice, the evidence of coverage provides a lot of information about the plan. This manual describes your plan, your rights and responsibilities, important phone numbers, resources, how to use your plan's coverage to get medical services. It has a medical benefits chart to let you know what is covered, what you pay, and if prior authorization is needed, and what to do if you have a problem or a complaint. Unfortunately, plans do not have to mail this document to you, but you can request one to be mailed. It is like a 300-page document. Or you can go onto your plan's website and download the document to have an electronic copy. It's simply a handy tool to have regarding your plan. On the top of that, you are now going to be mailed a bunch of information from all insurance companies that sell Part D plans or Medicare Advantage plans. Try to weed them out, and whatever you do, you do not want to consider shredded. Wow. With everything stated about how much Medicare costs with premiums, copays, and deductibles, there is some relief for Texas residents who qualify. All states have the Medicare Savings Program, but each state is given the flexibility to either keep the federal income asset standards or waive some of those restrictions. This slide provides information on the Medicare Savings Programs as well as the Low Income Subsidy Program. To qualify for the Medicare Savings Program through the Texas Health and Human Services, they'll need to know about your income. This program is based on gross income, not net income. So this means Health and Human Services will count all income prior to deductions. There are 3 levels of this program, and so depending on what your income is, would show where you fall. But the maximum income for an individual is $1,469, and the maximum income for a couple, if they're both applying, is $1,980. Also, in Texas, individuals have to have resources under a certain limit. For a single individual, that is right under $8,000, and for a couple, it's right under $12,000. If someone qualifies for the state program, they automatically qualify for the federal program, which is Low Income Subsidy. This reduces the cost of covered Part D prescriptions, and for 2022, that will be no more than $9.85, and it pays most or all of the Medicare Part D deductible. If someone is eligible for the Low Income Subsidy Program and they're approved, it could pay up to $36.27 toward a Part D premium. And we always want to remind you that there are rules and regulations that agents and brokers must follow. And this is a one-page handout that provides you with some of the do's and don'ts for agents and brokers, what's prohibited and what's appropriate. Thank you for your time today. And if you have any questions, my contact information is on the current slide. And now I will turn it over to Jennifer Salazar, Director of the Texas Senior Medicare Patrol.
Okay. Thank you, Melinda. And if you guys have any questions, can we ask you to please put those in your chat, in the chat or the Q&A, and we'll try to get those answered. And for those we don't get answered while we're working on, while we're going through the second half of this, we'll answer live at the end of the second portion of this. Jennifer, are you? I'm sorry, Diane, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, so I know Melinda's presentation was recorded. I know she introduced Jennifer, but Jennifer works with Diane, and Diane's going to be joining us today for the second half of the presentation. So Diane, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Great. I'm going to try to share my screen.
Just a second. I'm going to have to let you do that. I'm glad you said that. Sorry.
Oh, no problem.
There you go. You should be able to do it now.
Everybody see it?
I can see it.
Great. Okay, so the Better Business Bureau in Houston has the federal grant for the Texas Senior Medicare Patrol, which I'm the program coordinator of. And so that's why the slide shows the Better Business Bureau. So the Better Business Bureau is a nonprofit organization we're in consumer protection, so we, compile reports that you can look up online about companies before you shop. It is the holiday season, so people are trying to spend a little money. Our members agree to sit down with consumers and kind of resolve complaints. And so before you shop this holiday season, make sure you check out the company. And those 2 numbers are for the Houston Better Business Bureau. If you want to look up a company, you can go to www.bbb.org, or you can call those numbers where the reports will be read to you out loud. And like I mentioned earlier, the Texas Senior Medicare Patrol is housed here at the Better Business Bureau in Houston, and I am the program coordinator. Jennifer Salazar is the program director, and she couldn't make it today. She has a meeting actually at the same time as this presentation. And Lily Chu is also part of our team, and her contact information is also listed there. So if you ever, you have friends here at the Texas Senior Medicare Patrol, you're always free to call us or email us if you suspect any fraud or just have any other issues. I'm sorry, I'm a little sick, so I'm a little stuffy this morning. So like I mentioned earlier, it's the season for scammers because we're all trying to spend a little bit of money this holiday season. So watch out. And here are some scams that are going around this season. So for this, the BBB did a study, I think in 2019, maybe a little earlier, 2019, for means of contacts, the way that scammers try to contact you. And as you can see, 63% is online, and it might even be more relevant now because of COVID. Most of that contact was online, which includes websites, emails, social media, messaging, online classifieds, and text. And that 23%, that blue section, is through the phone, and then 7% in person, and then 7% as other means of contact. For social media, 91% of people did not recognize fraud as a scam and engaged. 53% of those people lost money. For websites, 81% engaged. 50% lost money, and the median loss was $500. So some people lost more money and some people lost less. And for a lot of these social media websites, they just sell ad space. So honestly, anybody can advertise anything on these websites, and they may not be legitimate. So watch out for those things. Or you shop online, don't choose to lose. When you are shopping online, make sure the company you are buying from has a legitimate address. So Google their name and address, and make sure it's not like just a PO box. Make sure it's a legitimate place, and take a look, in satellite view. Make sure it's not just some empty lot or another business that they're just putting the address under. Know your delivery dates. Make sure you know when your package is coming in. You want to make sure that you get the package because, nowadays there's something called porch pirates, and a lot of people are stealing packages. So make sure you know when it's coming in, and read all fine print. A lot of these, not legitimate companies, they may actually be selling something, but they won't let you return it. Make sure things have a return policy. And when you read these return policies, make sure they don't charge you for sending it back, and check who has to pay for the shipping and handling fees. Defend yourself. Make sure you do all the research before you shop at these companies to make sure that you don't lose money. Here are some common holiday scams. The first is Name That Star. And before I worked here, I actually didn't know that this wasn't legitimate. There's some people that are really hard to shop for. They, anything they want, they'll just get it themselves. And so there's this service that they call Name That Star, and they say, oh, it's for those people that are really hard to shop for. You can buy them a star. You pick out a star, really pretty star that you like, and we write your name down in this big book of stars, and that's your star. Unfortunately, there is no big book of stars. They're just selling you a piece of paper or a certificate, and it's not legitimate. You don't actually own that star. You can just make your own certificate online for free. The second thing is fake charities. Everybody's a little more giving during the holidays. And there's a lot of fake charities out there that are asking for money. I think I did a speech a couple of weeks ago, and somebody mentioned that the Houston Police Department was calling people and asking for money. And the Houston Police Department actually had to put a statement out, and they said, we're not calling people, we're not asking for money. I think another big thing is GoFundMe. And, there are legitimate people on GoFundMe that, might need help for something that happened, but a lot of scammers, they track the news, and what they do is if there's a big story that is national news, local news, they'll make fake GoFundMes for them. And so people end up sending money to these scammers. So be really careful. You can actually go to give.org or contact the BBB if you want to check out some charities to see if they're legitimate. So be careful of that. Gift cards. This has been in the news a lot lately. Every time I look up a scammer, I even saw it on my the local news channel a couple weeks ago. And gift cards are a really big scam right now. I think it used to be iTunes gift cards, and now it's Target gift cards. If you are buying a gift card, be sure to, when you go to the store, don't just pick one off of the kiosk that is where everybody can just take one. Some scammers will actually either they'll look at the code on the back, and then they'll stick another silver thing on it, or they'll put their own silver thing on it with their own code. So when you load money onto it, or when you activate it, the scammers will just drain the gift card before you could even give it away or use it. So if you really want to get a gift card for someone, I'd recommend, asking the people at the store if they have one in the back, or get one that's behind the counter, because you never really know. Unusual forms of payments. I mentioned the iTunes gift cards earlier. Now it's Target. So if any service or company is asking for some kind of unusual payment, like a prepaid debit card, a gift card, a money transfer, or now one of these money transfer apps, is probably not legitimate. They're probably scammers, because most companies will take credit cards, because all of these forms of payments are not traceable. Once you send the money, it's gone. I actually have a story about like these cash apps. Back in college, I was in an organization, and somebody made a fake account with them, and they made it look like my organization's account, and we were collecting donations for a charity. And so people were sending it to the wrong account. So be really careful when you're, for any of these payment methods. Make sure if you're trying to send it to the right person. And if somebody's asking for this form of payment, and it's a company that you're trying to buy from, it's probably not legitimate. The best way to pay for an item is through credit card, because they have more consumer protection than some of these other services. And email or e-cards. So if it's spam, it's scam. If you get an email from someone you don't know and it's from an e-card, don't open it. Or if you do get an e-card and it looks like it's from someone you know, before you click on it, on any links, I would contact the person offline and ask them, did you send me this e-card? Because you never know. And if it's not actually from them, because scammers can actually make emails look like it's from someone you know, and you accidentally download a virus or malware, or something that'll ruin your computer, or it might ask you for personal information, and that could be a scammer trying to steal your identity or bank account information. Special delivery from Santa for only $3. Your little one can watch Santa feed reindeer live, track Santa on Christmas Eve, video chat with Santa, or light the menorah. Act now, limited time offer. Don't be on the naughty list. Well, unfortunately, a lot of these services are free. You can do this online, but there's a lot of apps nowadays that say you have to pay for this kind of thing, or they're asking for all sorts of personal information, like your address or your name and your birthday. Be really careful if you see something like this, because there are legitimate services, but I would just stay away from it, because these things are free online. You can do this for free. So be very careful if you see anything like this. They're just scammers. They're trying to get your information, or they're stealing some money when, you can do this for free. Oh, mystery gift baskets. So scammers will scam you right to your door. You don't even have to leave to get scammed. So if you ever get, something that says you got a mystery gift basket from a secret admirer or from, just it's a surprise and they're sending you all sorts of goodies, sweets and candy and, plants, flowers, but there's also wine. So it's free, but we have to verify that you're over the age of 21. So then they ask you either for a fee or they'll ask for personal information. You need to pay, the shipping and handling fee. So we need your credit card information, your bank account information, your name, your address. Unfortunately, nobody is sending a mystery gift basket. This is just to steal your information. So when you do give them your information, such as your name, your address, your bank account information, you won't get this package. They just have gotten all this information from you. And they're trying to steal your identity, or they just pay this fee and they take your money and they run with it. So be very careful. This is not legitimate. Social media gift exchange. This is also on Facebook called Secret Sister. So you buy one gift and you can get up to 36. This makes the rounds, every year. And they'll say things like, oh, you send a bottle of wine, or you send a book, or you send whatever thing they made up for that year. And the idea is if you give one thing and you'll get a bunch more back. Well, unfortunately, this is a pyramid scheme, which is illegal in the US. They say you send one thing and then you share the post, and then other people will send things, and then you'll get those gifts, and so on and so forth. But as soon as, they run out of people, then the gifts dry up. And unfortunately, this is not legitimate. It's a pyramid scheme and it's illegal, like I mentioned before. So if you see this, don't engage in it. Just ignore it on Facebook or whatever social media you use, because you don't want to send someone random your address anyway. So I'm sure a lot of us have seen miracle ads like this. Extreme clean, drink your way to slim. Our new patented green tea shakes and smoothies guarantee results for fast and painless weight loss. No diet, no exercise, no sweat. You get a 30-day free trial, only $5.95 for shipping and handling. This seems great. Everybody, I know I ate a lot over Thanksgiving, and some of us are looking to lose a little weight. But what they don't tell you up front is if you look at the very teeny tiny fine print on the bottom, it says just $79.99 plus $5.95 shipping and handling every month once the 30-day free trial period is over, or you cancel. And they didn't even write out, they even wrote out $79.99 instead of putting the numbers so you don't see it. Well, if you do subscribe to this, free trial, and you don't see that it's actually a subscription service, they won't even send you the shakes until 3 weeks into the month, and you've already forgotten about them. And then you get the shakes after paying the $5.95. But then the 3 weeks is over, it's the fourth month, they've already charged the next month. So be really careful if you, if you are looking at these kinds of ads. And I will tell you that this stuff doesn't work. Anything that tells you something that's way too good to be true, like drink your way to slim, no dieting, no exercise, it doesn't work anyway. And so once you get the shakes in, and then you check your bank account, and then you realize you've been charged this amount of money. And some people don't even notice, like they'll get charged for months. So be very careful. Once you see ads like this, that's probably not legitimate, and make sure you're not doing a subscription service, because then they'll charge you month after month and you don't even notice. Copycat websites. So there's, I don't know if anybody's heard of SAS shoes. They're very expensive. They're like $100. But, for today only, they're $9.99. That sounds like a great deal. So you can stock up and save. Lowest price ever. Clearly, they're only, $10 a month about. Free shipping and returns. Unfortunately, if you look at the bottom, that URL, www.sss, there's an extra S. It's SAS shoes, there's an extra S in the middle. And these scammers are hoping you don't notice that. So when you go to this website, they may make it look exactly like the real website. It may, you know, if you go to the real website, it looks the exact same except with the extra S. And once you know, you might, if you actually make a purchase, you might get a cheap knockoff, or maybe nothing at all, and they would have just stolen your personal information, your credit card, your bank account numbers, and now they have your address and whatever else. So be really careful when you are typing in web addresses, and make sure that it is what you're looking for. And if you see a URL and you see a sale, let's say our URL, you see an advertisement on a social media website or any website, and it looks like the sale is really good, just type in the website, the original URL to the website. Because if, you know, they're advertising a sale, they'll probably advertise it on their, no, they'll for sure advertise it on their actual website. So check there. Don't click any links to any websites. Just go to the original website to check. Phishing, this comes back this thing will never go away. So what scammers will do is they'll send you an email. So it'll look like it's from a legitimate source, like this PayPal email. It looks like it's from PayPal. It says, "Dear PayPal customer, your order has been completed. It's going to be shipped, and your credit card has been charged $1,800 for a huge TV." I know I didn't buy a TV. And so they said, "Oh, but if you feel like you've been billed wrong, please visit that website." And they send you the URL. Scammers are good, and they make things look really legitimate. You see that thing that says privacy, prevention, and protection? If you had clicked on that, that goes to the real PayPal privacy information. But unfortunately, that URL is, you know, it's not the real PayPal URL. So if you clicked on it, it would have downloaded some malware, or, you know, made you put some personal information such as your username and password to your real PayPal. What you can do is you can hover over that URL, and it'll show you the real web address, because you can make URLs look like anything in an email or in a document. Even I know how to do this. I can make something say something else, but when you click on it, it goes to a different web address. So be sure to hover over it to make sure. And if you do get an email like this and it says, you know, you've been charged, what you can do is go to the website yourself and type it in, you know, www.paypal, you know, whatever the web address is, and your account will tell you if something has been charged. But if you get an email, it's like this, and it's probably, they're just phishing. So just delete the email. And just tip, when you do buy something or put personal information onto into the computer, onto the internet, you want to look at the web address and make sure it says HTTPS. The S means the connection is secure, so that whatever you put online, it's encrypted, so that, you know, other people can't just be looking at what you're putting in online. So if you are logging into your bank account or buying something or logging into anything, make sure it says HTTPS. And I think Google Chrome, you can't really see it on Google Chrome, but it has a little lock on it. The lock means the connection is secure. Or phishing, here's another example of a phishing email. My coworker got this one, and it's a warning message, and it makes it look really serious. You know, you need to update your account, or, you know, we're going to close your account. And that looks really scary. And, you know, you need to update your records. You click the link. Like I said earlier, the same rules apply. You can hover over it to see if it's really Bank of America, and you can just type it in and log in yourself in your real account. My coworker knew this was fake because she doesn't have a Bank of America account. What they do is they just send this to anyone and everyone, because they think somebody will bite, you know. So if you get an email like this, just go to your account yourself, or you can contact Bank of America, because, you know, on the number on the back of your credit card, you can verify that information. Or email notification, or mail notifications. So you might get a notification that says you've got a package, and it's a UPS invoice, or it's a customs form. Unfortunately, when you click these links and put in your personal information, you know, they'll put malware spyware on your computer. And so the next time you put in a username or password into a website, now they have it. If you do get a package and it doesn't tell you who it's from, or you get an email that says, you know, you got a package, but not say where it's from or who, probably just a scam. If it does say that it's from someone you know, I would call that person and ask them, did you send me a package? I'm getting an invoice for this. Because, you know, people know what they send. And if they say no, then it's probably a scam. Romance scam. Love is in the air, you know, or not. People, especially during the holidays, you know, it gets a little cold, we get a little lonelier. So people online date a lot, which is, you know, not a big deal, but there's a lot of scammers. There's a lot of catfish doing these romance games. They'll talk to you for months, and then they'll try to earn your trust. And then eventually something will come up. They'll make up all kinds of excuses why they can't meet you. You know, I'm traveling, or I work outside the country. You know, all sorts of things. And then eventually something happens. Oh, like my mom's sick, like I don't have the money for her rent. Oh, I lost my job because I'm taking care of her mom. And then they'll ask you for money. The other day I got a text message, and I knew it was a scam because I've seen it before, but it was a random number, and they said, hey, we matched on that dating app and we couldn't meet last time, but I'm in town now. Do you want to meet? And they literally said that dating app. So I knew it was a scam, because if you're going to tell me, if you've matched on whatever app or the internet or whatever, you're going to say where you know, matched on. And I didn't reply because I've seen it before, and I know what happens when you reply. So first they'll know your number is real. This person said, hey, we matched, but you know, usually as a good person, we would reply and say things like, oh, I'm sorry, like you have the wrong number, like I'm not on, you know, we didn't match on an app. And then what they do is they send a picture of like a pretty girl from the internet, just a random picture, and say, oh, well, this is what I look like. Do you want to talk anyway? And then, you know, that's how they start stringing you along. But I knew it was a scam, so I didn't reply. So if you ever get a text or a call or an email, and it's from someone saying that, you know, I got your number from this person, or we matched on an app, or whatever thing they say, don't reply to it, because it could be a scammer. And once they know your number is live and it's real and it belongs to somebody, they're going to keep contacting you through other means. They're going to know. So I would just ignore it. Even if it really is a poor soul that, you know, got the wrong number, they'll get the hint if nobody ever replies. So what do you do if you are, you know, decide to online date? Be nosy, slow down. You know, better not to rush into anything. Ask them lots of questions. It's not rude. You know, if you're getting to know someone, of course you should ask questions. Look for consistency. These scammers lie the whole day. It is so easy for them to lie. So they make up so many things. So make sure if they're telling you something, you know, that they're consistent. If one day they have a son, but the next day they say they have 3 daughters, and you're like, well, wait a minute. You said you had 1 son the other day, and all of a sudden you have 3 daughters. They're probably a scammer. You know, make sure those things are consistent. Just anything they say, honestly. You can check. Search by image on TinEye, that's TINEYE. You can check any picture and it'll show you all the places that this picture is online. And I did this with my picture just to see what it would look like. My picture's not anywhere on the internet. So you can do that with any pictures, by the way. It doesn't just have to be like a person. Listen to your loved ones. So people around you are telling you, hey, this person, I don't think they say who they are. I think they're using you. I think, you know, whatever. Listen to them, because I think when we're in situations and we're in the midst of it, it's hard to see from an outside perspective what it looks like. But if people around you are saying, hey, like this seems kind of fishy, it probably is fishy. And never send anyone money or gifts. If you've never met them, you know, the least you can do if you're online dating and you haven't met them is you can video chat. You know, most people have smartphones nowadays that have a camera, and you know, I mean, it's scam you if you video chat with them, but at least you can see who you're talking to, and cut off contact immediately if you feel like something's fishy. When you get that gut feeling, it's probably right. Puppy love. So this is the puppy scam. And you can, this is actually really often, especially during COVID. People have been getting lonely and wanting pets. And if you do want a specific breed, be sure to research the prices. If you see a dog and it's, a dog that everybody wants right now, I think for a while, everybody wanted a corgi. I think French bulldogs, people really like those dogs. Research the prices. And if you see a price that is really too good to be true, it probably is. It's probably a scammer. So make sure you know what the dog is going to cost, and don't go for dogs that seem to be really good for the price. Check search by image. You can do this on Tenai as well. Like I said, you could do this not just pictures of people. If that dog is shown on a ton of websites, it's probably not legitimate. Meet the dog in person. It's really important that you do that so that you know the dog is real, and always use a credit card to pay online. Like I mentioned earlier, a lot of these other payment methods don't have protection like a credit card does, and never send money or cash or money order or, those transfer apps. Try your best to use a credit card because once you send the money, it's gone. People have spent thousands of dollars on dogs that aren't real. So what these scammers will do is they'll, tell you like, oh, like I want to send you this dog. And so they'll, start taking money for it, but then, oh, like it needs its shots. It needs another payment. So the poor victims, they'll keep paying. And then they'll say, oh, there's a delay at the airport. We need to pay someone to watch the dog. And the cost will keep coming, but the dog never shows up. And then by the time some of these poor people have figured out that it's a scam, they've already lost thousands of dollars over. So there's a lot of online marketplaces that you can purchase things, crafts that people make and other things. Be very careful on these websites because let's say you make a purchase and you're excited for it and then it doesn't come in. And then so you you message the person that is selling the item and saying, hey, my package never came in. And they're like, oh, the website is just being really weird. But if you email me your credit card information, I'll even throw in 2 days shipping to get it to you faster. Well, first of all, if they're asking you to email you credit card information, they're probably not legitimate. They're a scammer. You should never go off platform on these things. These websites, they have added protection in them where they don't show, your credit card information or whatever source you're using to purchase your item to these sellers so that they don't see it. But if you email it to them now, they have your credit card information. They have all this information. So be very careful. Never go off platform when purchasing from an online marketplace. Virtual events. So in Houston, we have something called the Nutcracker Market, and it happens, every year. I don't think it happened during COVID last year, but it's an in-person market, and you go around and you can buy all these crafts that people are selling that are, mostly holiday themed. But scammers know about these things. So shop as you like. Join us in person or virtually. Want the deals but not the crowds? Visit all the booths from your couch. $20 at the door or 10 online. And this seems like, a good deal. Like I don't want to go outside being in a crowd of people, and it's cheaper to shop online. Sounds great, except there is no virtual Nutcracker Market. So if you see an ad like this and you end up paying $10, you just lost $10, or they just stole all your information. So if there are markets like this, contact the market directly and ask them, are you having a virtual event? And if they say no, it's a scam. And if they are, you can ask them for the real URL, or make sure it's the same URL. Travel. So there's a lot of travel deals because, COVID shut everything down. So a lot of companies are trying to sell more traveling things like hotels and flights and stuff. Be very careful when you're booking hotels or, staying at things like Airbnb because, you might think you're staying somewhere like this and you get there and it looks like this. So this is a real story. There was a man that was on the news. He went to Europe, to I think London, and he was really excited for his trip. He booked an Airbnb. And when he got there, when he got to the nice flat or apartment that he was going to stay at for the week, there was a man that opened the door and said, my apartment is not for rent. You're like the third person this week to come by. You've been staying. He flew all the way over there and he had no pay. Be very careful when booking things like Airbnb, because you can make, anybody can make a posting and it's not, legitimate. There's no actual place for rent. So when you do book things like this, make sure the place has reviews. Make sure other people have stayed there before, and make sure there's reviews and make sure the reviews are good. Be very careful. Advertisements. So there's a lot of classified ads that Craigslist, Green Sheet, eBay, and now Facebook Marketplace, where people are selling things like cheap cars or concert tickets, home sales, rentals, checks, holiday jobs. My friend a couple years ago actually got scammed trying to buy a concert ticket. Like the person was selling it for $30 and they said, oh, I only take Zelle, which I said, those money transfer apps, they're not traceable. And he sent $30 and then they said, oh, I never got it. And so they said, can you send it again? So he sent another $30. And so he sent $60 and that money was gone. The person never contacted my friend, never got the concert ticket. Home sales, rentals. So I think in Detroit, there's a lot of empty houses and people are like, scammers are breaking into these houses. They're replacing the lock on the rentals or these homes, and then they're renting it out to people or selling it to people. So people are moving into these houses. This poor woman thought she was paying off her mortgage and she thought she finished. Turns out she didn't own the home. The guy that sold her the house didn't own the home either. So she was paying for months, for 2 years. And then all of a sudden she didn't have a place to live. Bogus checks. So be very careful if you sell something and someone sends you a check, it says, oops, I accidentally sent more than you listed the thing for. So can you send me the excess back? Well, what happens is if you cash that check. So what will happen is the check goes through, it says the funds are available, but they're technically, the check hasn't passed until they go back to the original bank and get the funds back. Well, the funds may be available, but then, but you send, whatever the excess is. And then finally, when they try to make sure the check goes through, it doesn't go through. So then they just take out the funds from your own account. So be very careful. If somebody sends you extra money, and this goes for the money transfer apps too. This happens. So somebody accidentally sends you money in a money transfer app and they ask for it back. Most of us are good people. We're going to send it back. Don't send it back. Contact, contact the app and tell them what happened and they'll deal with it. But don't ever send money back if someone sends you too much. And then holiday jobs. Be very careful. Make sure these advertisements for jobs are legitimate. Because a lot of them are fake. They're going to ask you for social security numbers and all of that before even an interview, or they'll make you pay for, they'll send you a check and make you pay for all this equipment, and then the check bounces, and then you would have just spent all this money on equipment that is not for a real job. A lot of cheap stuff online. Fake jewelry, miracle products, and much, much more that are not legitimate online. So be very careful. You might see things that are a good deal, like a designer purse, but it's actually fake. So, and like I mentioned miracle products earlier, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. So be alert online, inspect all links. Like I said, hover over the URL, make sure it's going where it's supposed to be going. Type in the website, which is the better option. Yourself, make sure there's no typos. Stay on platform when you're buying something. Don't go off platform. Don't email anything that is not protected. Read it carefully, read the fine print, make sure there's nothing, make sure things have a return policy. Research the company, contact the BBB, go Google Maps, make sure other people have purchased from where you're trying to purchase before, because if nobody's bought from it, how would we know it's a legitimate business? And like I've been saying, if it's too good to be true, it probably is. So here are some tips. If it's spam, it's scam. If you get some kind of deal or you win something in your email, you probably didn't, and it's just a phishing email, and they're going to try to either insert malware or steal personal information. Payment methods. Credit card is the best choice when making a purchase online. What you should do is you should save your receipts, save all your receipts. And if you're buying something on sale and it looks like a good deal, take a screenshot of the advertisement. So let's say you bought a leather jacket and then you get it in and it's not leather, it's faux leather, it's fake leather. So it's plastic. And then you can dispute that with the credit card company. You could say, here's the advertisement. Your credit card will try to get you your funds back. And then make sure it's a secure server. Like I said, make sure that little S is there. It's like I said, receipt, advertisement, all of that information. And ask questions. If you're trying to buy from someone, it's okay to ask them questions because, they're providing you a service or an item. So it's fair to ask them questions about their policies. And when in doubt, check them out. And so if you want to report any fraud or Medicare fraud, call that hotline. And this is our team. Feel free to contact any of us.
Great. Thank you so much. Let me see if I can get our if you'll leave that up, that would be great for just a minute. Does anyone have any questions? I know that, is it Yvonne that raised her hand? And I don't know if you had a question. If you do have a question, if you could put that in the chat for us or in the Q&A, or anybody else that might have a question, that would be great. One of the things that I'm going to add, just as I was listening to Diane, we've got to remember that in this day of Facebook and all of the different apps that have all of your friends on it, it's become so much easier for these scammers to make things familiar, because they obviously can get all of the, in most cases, they can get the names of some of your friends just by your posts or your friends list, if that's accessible. And so they can sure make things seem familiar. They know when your birthday is in many cases. So you've got to really be we've got to really be careful in this day and age in regards to anything that even sounds familiar. As Diane said, to call the people and make sure you check on it. I was in a different scam. I was on a committee at my church, and all of a sudden I started getting texts from supposedly the pastor of our church, that he needed, that we had a family that was had someone in the hospital and they were in desperate need, and if I could go buy some gift cards and call him with the information on it. And what it was they just got my my cell phone number out of the church's website, because it was put on there for the committee, and so they can make it sound very familiar. So Diane, thank you so much. Oh, okay, I can hear the recording. Okay, I got it. Yvonne, I'm sorry, I just got that. Anybody else have anything before we finish up?
Hardy, I just wanted to say I had a similar situation also, where social media was used and it wasn't me. And even an email, once my email was hacked, it's best to change your password once you have been hacked.
Oh yeah.
Change your password to everything. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. And you got to do that quick.
A lot of apps or other programs will ask you to connect your Facebook. If you do that, you have to be sure you read what they're getting from Facebook, because Facebook, a lot of the times when you connect apps or accounts to Facebook, they'll have access to your name, your birthday, your email, your friends list. So you got to be very careful what you connect to Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that the internet's a great thing, but it's also given a lot of information, made a lot of information accessible to obviously people that are using it that are not in our best interest. And so you really got to be careful and really look at everything with a keen eye, even if it sounds very familiar. And I know they're going to talk about the grandparent scam here in a couple of months and that kind of thing. There's so many different scams out there. So many ways they're trying to get us. So, Melinda, did you have anything you wanted to add before we finish?
I did want to say, knowing what the changes are with Medicare helps people also reduce the chance of becoming a victim of scams, because sometimes people may try to sell them something that's not legitimate. And individuals need to know that the Advantage plan information is in the back of the book. So if somebody's saying, hey, this is a plan that you can get on and not pay X amount of costs, it's best to check the Medicare New Handbook before actually enrolling, just to make sure it's legitimate. Because you don't have to make rush decisions. You know, you do have time when there's an enrollment period.
Very good. Very, very good.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Melinda. Diane, did you have anything else you want to add before we finish up?
No, I think that's it for me.
Great. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you all for joining us. Again, we did record this. We will send you a follow-up email with the recording and with the links to the slides. And there's also a link to a handout, another handout that I received this morning that I didn't include that in the link. I will include that in the email that I send out to you all. So look forward to that. We're going to rerun this at 3 o'clock this afternoon for anybody that didn't make it, or any of you that may have come in late or would like to hear it again. I will include you all in the links, to send out the links for this afternoon session, just in case you want to do that. Please ignore it if you don't. I understand. And so thanks again for joining us, and you all have a great day.
Thank you, Marty.
Thank you. Thank you, Diane. Thank you so much.